Okay, so I've got this Airhead. It's a 1978 R80/7, and it's been pretty much restored. We rebuilt it, rebuilt the engine, took it all the way down to the crankshaft, built it all the way back, and last thing really is to paint the bodywork. So I've been running the bike for a while, and it runs great. Did some other modifications to it, but very minor modifications, but getting ready to take it in for paint. And I kind of converted it into an S style. So it's got this nice little bikini fairing. And it's a little tricky to install and remove. So let me show you guys how to do that. So to remove the fairing, what you want to start with is to remove these turn signals. And I will just start off and say that these are not the right stalks for this fairing. There's actually a version that's a little bit longer, but as you can see, the shorter one does fit. It's really tight, but there's actually a longer stalk that's meant for the S-type fairing, and that just sticks out a little bit longer. But I'll show you why I like the shorter version in just a second. All right, the first step is pretty straightforward. You unscrew this, make sure you've got the right size Phillips screw. It's a really, really small one, so if you got those jeweler type screwdrivers, that's helpful. And take the cover off. Then you've got the reflector, and they might be a little tight in there, so just gently pry around this. I mean, you can see the marks where the metal here bit into the plastic. So you just want to carefully pry it out, take the light bulb out, pry it out, and then take out the positive and negative wires. All right, then you want to take out the 10 millimeter nut, bolt nut. So it's just a pinch bolt, so take that out. And then you should be able to slowly work this off. Well, I probably need two hands to do it, but you want to work it off and then make sure you feed the wires one by one through the hole. That's a really small hole, but it does go through without having to clip the wires. Okay, so now I have it off on both sides, and what I like to do is just put everything back together. I'm really bad about losing parts, especially really small parts. So just put all the nuts and bolts and light bulbs back in. That way it's just in one solid piece, and I'll probably put them in a bag, a little Ziploc bag, just hold them. But you can see I didn't have to cut off the ends, and they do work themselves out, even though that hole's really small. You just work out one wire at a time. This was an earlier repair, so that's not from removing it. But you can see on the other side, took the wires out without having to cut the connectors or anything. It comes right out. So next step is to remove this part of the mounting bolt, and then this is the tricky part here, because you can see you got to be able to get this around off of this side on both sides. And it's fiberglass. It's got a little bit of flex to it, just not a lot. So I'll show you that in just a second. All right, so once you get that top bracket off, it's kind of loose now. And so here is the little bit of the tricky part. So you come back down to the bottom, you want to remove that metal piece, and that's how it clamps. And then you got this rubber piece, that's how that clamps. And then on the back side, there's a metal piece, so you want to take that out. And then get this rubber piece to go over. And so now you can slide this whole thing over here, and that gives you enough slack to remove it from the opposite side and then come back and float out. And then that's another reason why I like these stems, turn stalks, mounting stalks, because they're a little shorter. On the real S, they're actually about an inch longer. So that just makes it more difficult when you have to bend this back to remove this fairing. And like I said, you know, it's fairly thick fiberglass, but it still cracks. So just got to be real careful when you're taking this off. So I'll go do the other side, and let's see if I can try and film it with one hand. Okay, so as you can see, I'm gonna try and push this as far as I can in here, which gives me, if we come over this side, hopefully enough slack to try and get it around this. Very careful. Okay, there we go. So I was able to get it off that side, and then now, of course, this side will just slide off. So let me do it with two hands so I don't drop this. Okay, so here we go. This is off the bike. You can see it had previously cracked from the previous owner, and they tried to epoxy it back. So when I take it to the body shop, hopefully they'll fix that up for me. But now I've got a naked bike. This is how the bike originally came to me. Actually, no, it didn't. It had a huge Luftmeister fairing on it. So I took that off. I didn't like it. But if anybody wants it, it'll be for sale. But you can see here that rubber grommets on there. And this is the other side where I peeled it off. So try not to lose these bits. They're actually they're hard to find. I think you can still buy them, but still try not to lose it if that's the kind of fairing that you have. So anyway, let me go ahead and remove the other body panels, all fairly basic. This fairing was the only tricky part. I had some trouble when I installed it, but from here on out, we'll just peel off the rest of the panels and send it to the paint shop. Thanks for watching.